I stared at my phone screen, not believing what I was seeing. 100247. For the first time in my life, I had six figures. But what happened next surprised me more than hitting the number itself. Within 24 hours, everything changed. How I thought, how I spent, how I planned. It was like someone flipped a switch in my brain. And at that moment in 2016 taught me something most people never discover. 100,000 isn't just a milestone, it's a complete psychological transformation. If you don't know this is coming, you will quit too early. You will miss the most important breakthrough of your financial life, even if you're starting from zero. Even if 100,000 feels impossible, what I'm about to show you will change how you see money forever. First, I'll show you why the first 100,000 feels impossible and why most people quit. Then, the math that changes everything at six figures. And finally, the mindset shift that transform how you think about every dollar you earn, because the person you become on the way to 100,000 is worth more than that 100,000 itself. Here's what nobody tells you about building your first 100,000. It feels like torture. You save 500 here, invest 1,000 there, and after months of discipline, your account barely moves. I remember checking my balance constantly, hoping this month would be different. A 10% returns on 5,000 is $500. That's nice, but it doesn't change anything. And when you're living as an expat, paying international school fees, managing currency fluctuations, planning for an uncertain future across multiple countries, that slow progress feels even more frustrating. Most people quit here. They think this investment thing doesn't work for people like me, but they are wrong. They are quitting right before the magic happens, because something extraordinary occurs when you cross 100,000. The math completely flips. At 100,000 with an 8% return, you're earning 8,000 per year without working. But here's the crazy part: if you keep contributing, say 10,000 annually, that 8,000 gets reinvested alongside with your new contribution. So next year, you're earning on 118,000, then 137,000, then 158,000. Your money starts working harder than you do. Getting to your first 100,000 with 10,000 annual contribution might take 8 years, but getting from 100,000 to 200,000 with the same contributions, only 5 years. The second 100,000 takes 35% less time than the first. Now this isn't magic, is the compounding effect finally gaining real momentum. But the real transformation isn't the math, it's what happens in your head. The morning after I hit 100,000, I woke up different. I looked at the 200 dinner, I saw $2,000 in 20 years if invested instant. When my friends talked about upgrading to business class flight, I started calculating. That's 2,000 extra invested over 15 years, that could be 8,000. I stopped asking, can I afford this? And started asking, does this move me closer to freedom? Every purchase became a choice: consuming now or building forever. This is the identity shift nobody talks about. You stop being someone who earns money, you start being someone who builds wealth. Your entire relationship with money changes overnight. But here's what accelerated my path to that first 100,000. I discovered something that changed my timeline from 8 years to 4 years. Instead of hoping my investment would grow, I found a way to know exactly what I would receive and when. I started using structure notes that paid me predictable amounts, like receiving $1,000 every quarter for 3 years, with my capital protected unless market dropped by half, which is extremely rare. Then I will take those quarterly payments and reinvest them into new structure notes. Every quarter, I was building more predictable income streams, and that's predictability. Changed everything about how I felt about my future. When you know exactly what you'll receive and when, You stop checking your portfolio constantly. You stop losing sleep over market news. You stop feeling like you're gambling. You start feeling like you're building. This is especially powerful when you're managing finances across borders, dealing with currency uncertainty, planning for children's education costs that seem to rise every year. Now, this is the real transformation at 100,000. You are no longer someone who hopes for financial success. You are someone who structures it. When I finally crossed that threshold, I remembered the exact moment it clicked. I was looking at my statements, seeing predictable income flowing in, and I realized I'm not dependent on the market luck anymore. I have a system that works while I sleep. That feeling and that financial freedom actually feels like it's not just about being able to buy anything you want, but knowing your wealth is growing predictably, protected, and working for you around the clock. This transformation is available to anyone willing to think differently about building wealth. Your first 100,000 is waiting, but more importantly, the person you become while building it, someone who chooses certainty over hope, that transformation changes everything. The math works, the psychology works, and once you experience both, you will never go back to hoping and guessing with your financial future. If you ever felt like you are guessing with your investments, I made a video just for you. Stop guessing predictable wealth with structure notes. In under 30 minutes, you will see how to replace stress with strategy and build wealth you can actually count on. I will drop the link in the description. It's worth every minute. So when you hit your first 100,000, and you will, remember this moment. Remember that everything changes: your mindset, your decisions, your entire relationship with money. That's when you will understand what I discovered staring at my phone screen in 2016. 100,000 isn't just a number, it's the moment you become someone completely different. And that person, the one who builds wealth instead of chasing it, that's who you are trying to become right now.